Tolerances is going to be a little mini project I'm doing in between Retsume episodes because it's kind of hard to actually get hands on a quality episode of an anime pretty much anywhere on the frickin' internet. And of course, I get taken down by YouTube or something. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna do standalone reviews for the channel that I'm going to review pretty much my favorite anime, I could say. They aren't limited to Japan. I'm going to do some American anime, some Japanese ones, of course. But this one in particular is very franche. It's Code Lyoko, and I watched this to death, almost religiously when I was a kid. Information about it. Oh, good lord. It's a French animated television series created by Thomas Romain and Tania Palumbo. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And the series began an initial 95 episode run on France's France 3 and ended its run on about 2007. And it was widely popular in the United States, enough to where it got frickin' Nintendo games. And I'm pretty sure it did a movie. I'm not sure though. I never got that far. I stopped at about the submarine origin. Let's see. This show originates from a short film in France called The Children Make Their Moves, or The Children Make Their Movies, which in France it's called Les Enfants font leur cinéma, and I probably also didn't do a very good accent there, which was also directed by Thomas Romain and produced by a group of students from Parisian Visual Arts School. Romain worked with Tania Palumbo while they were making this short film called Garage Kids. It was called this later, in about 2001 actually, and it was intended to be about a 26 episode series detailing the lives of four French boarding school students who have discovered the secret of Xanadu, and this was changed a lot later. And it was a show intended to show the relation between 2D and 3D animation. Garage Kids evolved into Code Lyoko, which began in 2003. Romain left to work on a show called Oban Star Racers, which, wow, great investment there. Palumbo stayed as the show's director for artistic implications. Code Lyoko is about a show. It's a show involving four boarding school students named Jeremy, Odd, Ulrich, and Yumi, and it just goes from there. This first episode you're seeing is weird. It's the first episode anyone in America saw of this show, and it is so confusing. It throws the plot at you, like literally. It's zooming in at you right now as we speak. There was supposed to be a prequel. The prequel was made first, and boy, that didn't come until a lot later. The episode we're seeing now is called Teddy Ursula, and it was actually supposed to be the first episode of season 1, right after the pilot, but I guess they were supposed to market it for American audiences, and this is the one they decided to show just the beginning of the season. It's so confusing. Okay, so the basic story is that four boarding school kids discover this virtual world, and they discover there's an actual real girl trapped inside. That's not her, the one holding the teddy bear. It was the computer pink-haired chick named Aelita. Named after virtual intelligence. Odd. And she's trapped inside this computer world, and this computer world also is inhabited by Xana, Xana, and he is interested in just wreaking havoc on the planet and trying to escape this virtual world, and he cannot let Aelita escape. It follows sort of a story arc with, like, multiple sub-episodes, just seeing what kind of crap Xana's getting into this time. This first episode just mainly shows our characters. Up in front, we have Jeremy, the blonde, smart kid, and of course everyone calls him Einstein, naturally. He has a poster of Einstein sticking his tongue out in his room, and I want one of those, really. They go to this boarding school, and little kids go here. There's like 3 teachers that are ever shown in the whole school. There's ever 3 teachers shown at one time. So they're probably low on staff. It seems kind of like a crappy school to go to in the first place, although their dorms are really damn nice. Apparently France has really great boarding schools. I haven't seen one of them like here around America, but you know what I'm saying. Next up is Ulrich, and he was the sort of brown, athletic-looking kind of kid. Ulrich gets really deep later on, especially when we start connecting him to his parents and his other friends and all that. In this virtual training world, Jeremy actually sends his 3 other friends into this training program, or this virtual reality program, which switches from 2D to 3D animation, like, instantly. And every single time he puts them in the virtual reality to stop Santa's monsters, he has to do the virtualization technique. Oh my god. This virtualization process takes up... Sorry, the visuals here is freaking... I'm gonna wait a bit to actually explain what they do in this virtual reality after this freaking scene. Really, I should have probably picked an episode from season 2, just to demonstrate that you aren't missing much by watching season 1, and just skipping right on to season 2, because that's when it starts to get really damn good. People consider this show to actually be very, very good, actually. Especially American audiences. I don't know how it rated in France, but I know it did extremely well over here. You may not have heard of it. I know a lot of kids my age watched it. Maybe not the in crowd. I really wish this scene would end so I could start talking about the actual show without getting just creeped out. Oh, that's wacky. Xana could do some really weird stuff at the beginning. You'll see here, it gets very strange. It makes more sense later on in season 2. Anyway, so they send these... Jeremy sends his 3 friends into the virtual program, and they all can fight Xana's monsters. There they are right there. Ulrich, the athletic kid, is modeled after a... I'm pretty sure it's a samurai. He can split himself up into 3 parts, and he's super fast and all that, and he can use a sword. And his personality kind of reflects that. He's sort of the calm, samurai warrior type that just wants to protect his other friends, and was sort of dragged into this whole business in the first place, which is shown, of course, in the prologue, the pilot that we never got to saw us American kids until way later on. Second coming up is Aelita. Not Aelita, sorry. Yumi is modeled after some Chinese fan lady thing. Yumi's character is pretty much being the girl in the group, but she's actually a very strong, very independent character that's very wise. Sort of like a Chinese, whatever the heck she's supposed to resemble, girl is supposed to resemble. And Aelita gets a big thing with Ulrich that never, ever goes anywhere besides a few cliffhanger makeouts before... Oh god, I'll have to explain that part later. The part that still confuses me to this day about this show, which I'm pretty sure we'll even see an example of later on in this episode. Then again, the thing I'm going to talk about happens in about every single episode. Then the last one is Odd. And yes, that is his name, and yes, he has a diamond painted on his forehead or something. Odd is... strange. Like, he's supposed to be the strange guy, and his name is Odd, yes, but what nationality is he? Where does he come from? What is he? Is he an alien? I know he has a dog kiwi. Maybe he's supposed to fit into every one of these other humans. He's not American. He's not French. I know that. Maybe he's German. I don't know. That there's Jim. He's one of the recurring teacher characters, and really, like, I want that gym teacher at my school. He's freaking awesome. In season 2, it quite develops the actual world, the actual virtual world, instead of the real one that they pretty much spend the entire of season 1 developing. In season 2, we see more of the regions and exactly why this virtual world was made. Speculative debate between if it was a good explanation or a stupid one, but I won't spoil it in case this somehow urges you to watch Code Lyoko. When I was a kid, I thought this show was amazing, and really, it still kind of holds up, especially season 2. How many times can I say that season 2 is really awesome because it's so good? Season 1 is hit and miss. You know, it's not bad. Some of the episodes are really ridiculous, though, especially this first one here. Keep in mind when you're watching this, this is the first time we ever saw this show. Later on, it became so much better. So much better. The voice acting improved. Pretty much everything improved, even the art style. And the art style still looks really damn good in these first couple episodes or so. Let's see here. More, the theme song for this show is supposed to be very poppy and catchy. It's very unfitting for me. You know the opening of Digimon? That sort of cyberpunky tech thing where they're all spiraling into a virtual reality? I want that show to be like swap with this show. And instead of the Digimon swirling around, just like, I don't know, show overview shots of the school or something. That would be a lot more fitting. This scene right here that they're showing in the sewers, this gets repeated so many times throughout the show. I think they never actually change the animation for that ever. Because they have to show them going to the virtual reality chambers, skateboarding and scootering and stuff, all the way through the sewers, heading up to the damn bridge, then roping across this abandoned warehouse like a vine, swinging way over to the elevator, not even bothering to take the elevator, just going down some stairs or something. I guess they're all down. And then having everyone else do the exact same thing. Boy, the episodes got complicated later on, whether or not who was there, who actually got to go into the virtual reality process, who actually was available. And let me tell you about the actual fight, the virtual worlds themselves. I forgot to even mention Odd's virtual character. Jeremy never goes in there because he keeps dying. Aelita is pretty useless. Odd, I mentioned Ulrich had a sword and then he can move super fast and split him up into 3 parts. That is useful. The monsters that Xana has are super big and they have a lot of variety in them. We'll see some later on in the episode. Odd is more ranged, and he can shoot laser arrows at enemies, and I did not exaggerate what I just said there. Laser arrows! So yeah, they get scanned like they're in some video game, which I've never actually played any of the Code Lyoko video games. I don't want to, for other reasons. So it switches off to 3D animation pretty legitly, actually. It's not like they do it in the real world just for no reason. Like 3D Ulrich just right there talking to someone on a cell phone. And then Yumi is sort of a mix between Odd and Ulrich, and that she can use both close range and long range with throwing her laser fans at people, at enemies. The enemies range from tactical to just, we have to destroy, kill everything right now. And if Aelita dies, she's gone forever. But if they die, if our actual main characters die, they just get sent back in the real world and they can't be thrown back into the virtual reality for like a day or so. Their weak spots are the little Xana logos somewhere on their body, especially in the negative world or whatever they called it, like Zone 5. I think it was Zone 6. That they actually had even stronger foes and every single episode ended on a cliffhanger. Every one. But then that